Welcome back. This is Wealth Principle 39. We've been doing the Wealth Principles for 39 weeks. The Wealth Principle is how you do anything is how you do everything. I know that up here it says Wealth Principle 38. Just ignore that. It's actually 39, and it is how you do anything is how you do everything. But what does that mean? This is the wealth principle that makes people rich. This is the one. If I could take all the other ones and just take the first one, which is think a million, and then add wealth principle 39 to it, which is how you do anything is how you do everything. You could actually become successful with just these two wealth principles. If you understood what you actually did, if you understood the habits behind your everyday, if you wanted to be wealthy, if you wanted to be rich, then you would have to change something about yourself. You would have to change how you do the little things. And there are principles behind each thing in life that actually go across all the way across the board. And I'll go quickly over some of them. One is discipline. If you're disciplined in one activity, there's likelihood that you'll be disciplined in another activity. If you find yourself undisciplined in one activity, there's a good chance that you'll be undisciplined in money-making activities or health-related activities or relationship activities. And so it's very important to start identifying what you're good at and what you're not good at, and just look at anything. It doesn't matter what it is, as simple as how you eat, how you sleep, how you interact with people. If you take things personally, that's a very bad principle. If you're not honest, so successful people are honest. Successful people are extremely honest. And the more honest you are, the more successful you can be, because it's not just about being honest with other people, it's about being honest with yourself. And the more honesty you have with yourself, the more easily it is to convey it to other people. And the more clear you are with yourself, the faster you work towards what you want to create. The wealth principles are designed for one thing: to build wealth. This is not the type of program you get involved with if you just want to get by. This is not the kind of program you commit to if you're looking to just be comfortable. This is certainly not the type of process that you get involved with if you just want to be happy. This is a program that allows you to get to the next level. 52 weeks is a year. 52 weeks is a big commitment. Who here is happy that they've made the commitment so far? Hands to the camera if you're satisfied with the results that you've received as somebody who takes action. Excellent. Give yourselves a round of applause. It's a powerful community we have in here. These are all of the members of our mentorship program at the moment. There are many others who couldn't make it this morning, but these are graduates. These are successful people. These are people who are currently in the program. If you're still in the program, hands to the camera. Just joined, still in the program, just starting. Excellent. Let's give them a round of applause. These are the new champions, future millionaires on their way through to get to the next level. If you just recently graduated or have graduated or became a coach, hands to the camera. Coaches, graduates, excellent. Give yourselves a round of applause, because you are on a journey and you now have the habits. You know what makes people successful, which brings me to the next habit, which is action. Successful people take action. They don't wait. Poor people wait. Poor people procrastinate. Sad people wait. Fat people wait. And by the way, there's nothing right or wrong with being sad, fat, divorced, unhappy, or poor. Those are just decisions that people make by not doing the right things, the right actions. Now, you can be very, very fat and rich. You can be very, very poor and in shape. You can be very, very, very unhappy and rich. It's possible to do any one of these combinations. But at the end of the day, if you had a choice, I think that you would choose to be wealthy, healthy, happy, and successful, and have the best relationships. I believe in this community because I've interviewed each and every one of you, and I know at the end of the day, this is what you've decided. You want more. You want to create more. And you're not like other people who say, well, if I could just spend less time doing things and more time wasting my time doing nothing. Well, I guess that's okay. Hold on. Let me take that back. Let me rephrase that. There's nothing wrong with doing nothing if that's your main goal in life, like Ron Bowling. So his whole point in life is to absolutely do nothing. Nothing better than doing nothing. And look at this screen. There he is. So there are some people who do get pleasure out of literally doing nothing. But on the other side of that, Ron reads books. Ron loves educating himself. He loves being involved with people. He loves helping people. He loves getting to the next level. So even though he works hard to create a moment of nothingness, it's also a form of meditation. I've never met somebody who is so self-aware of what their goals are, what makes them happy. So his nothing is actually meditation and self-introspection and self-understanding. So I can't 100% say that successful people don't like doing nothing. In fact, some of the most successful people I know do take time to meditate, myself included. Every Sunday is a day for meditation, every morning, every night. Take time for yourself. So successful people take time for themselves, right? Write this down. These are very important steps. Successful people are self-disciplined. Successful people take action, and successful people take time for themselves to think about what they want, to think about what they want to create, to be thankful for what they have, to be grateful for the people in their lives, to be grateful for the business that they have. You understand that your life is your choice. It's all happening in your head. Yes, we're all in this world together. We're all interacting with each other. But at the end of the day, it's your results, your thoughts about the results that create your success. The happier you are with what you have, the more life will give you. The happier you are with what you're about to create, the faster it will come to you if you're willing to take those actions. Right? The universe is looking to give you what you want, but action is the step. Action is the result. Action is receiving. So if you can take the action towards what you're looking to have, you can have what you're looking to have. This is making sense so far. Yes? Excellent. Good morning. It's good to see everybody on the camera. Shame to all of our mentorship members who are a little bit late. You know who you are. Yes, the hanging the headed shame. It's all right. We had a good conversation this morning, and it was good to see everybody. Give the newcomers a round of applause. It's good to see you back. Welcome back. And to our new members, welcome back. Victor, good to see you. Excellent. Mike Shine, we've got a book this week, and it turns out we're going to talk about a lot of books because habits are something that everybody has. Habits are something that everybody has, either right or wrong. There are only two types of habits in the world for you, but they are not the same for everybody else. So write this down. The right habits may be wrong with different goals. The right habits are only right if you want the thing that habit will bring you. And the right habits could be wrong if you don't want the same thing as somebody else. And this is part of the problem with success books and life coaches, and there you go, and with parents and teachers and government leaders and financial advisors and real estate investors and agents and anybody who might give you some advice, because what was good for them may not be good for you. The habits they created. Who here has heard that you got to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning to be successful, or before 6? Who's heard 5 o'clock in the morning to be successful? Who's heard 3:30 in the morning to be successful? Excellent. Go back to the Alchemist Nation podcast. This week, I interviewed three gentlemen who told me it doesn't matter what time you wake up. In fact, they subscribe to a 8 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning. It does not matter what time they wake up. They're still successful. And these are people who own over 1,000 units. One at his peak owned 1,700, another one over 4,000. And so these are very, very successful real estate syndication folks. And so they're not slouches. They just figured out how to make money on their own schedule. So are they the exception? No, I also don't wake up before 8 o'clock in the morning. Is that okay? If you do things differently, you can still be wealthy. Yes. In fact, Melanie shared with me this week. She's like, yeah, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. That's kind of a good time, right, Mel? That's how she gets her beauty rest. That's why she looks so beautiful on the camera. Give Mel a round of applause. And to all of our ladies who look amazing today, give yourselves a round of applause. Kim, Harvey, Melanie, Elizabeth, Stephanie, put your camera on. Darina, Christine. Finally, we want Christine to get her own window. We feel that she takes up so much space that Terry can barely get anything in. But look at Christine shining over there. Good to see you this morning.
Mike Shine.
Mike Shine. This is for the ladies, Mike. So getting into these disciplines, getting into these habits, This principle allows you to identify which ones are good and which ones are bad. So understanding that discipline is important, taking action is important, sleeping is important, having healthy relationships is important. How do you communicate with other people is important. These are habits that are based on the past experiences, past results, past ambitions. You may have changed. You may have adjusted your goals. I remember when I started this. Is it okay if I tell a story? Fair if I tell people a story? When I started this, all I wanted to do was have 40 units owned by myself, and I wanted to fix everything myself. I wanted to manage everything myself, and I wanted to basically be a hermit who didn't talk to anybody and just own these 40 units and never have to work again. Has anybody ever had a goal like that? Excellent. Excellent. The first time I got to 40 units, I thought it was going to take me 10 years. And the first time I got to 40 units, I realized I don't actually want this goal. I would much rather do absolutely nothing and have 100 units. I would rather do absolutely nothing and have just a partner in it so that I don't have to do everything. He can do the stuff I'm not good at. I can do the stuff I'm good at and focus on acquisition. And as I continued going forward, I had my real estate license. I said, I will never, ever, 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 ever help somebody buy a house. And now after 6 years of being licensed, I have helped hundreds of people buy houses. Hands to the camera if you've learned something from me about buying real estate. Excellent. Excellent. Let me continue with this thing I would never do. I decided I would never own a brokerage. I would never be a team leader. I would never have agents under me. And then I had 25 agents within 3 years of saying that, making those statements. And then I said I would never, ever teach, train, or coach, because those guys are just gurus and they don't know what they're talking about. And then I said, in fact, they're so terrible, I would never go to one. And I would never learn from one of these guys I had to pay for, right? If I had to pay for education, then it wasn't really worth it. And that hurt. All of these bad habits hurt and held me back, but there was nothing as bad as that one. That one was the most dangerous habit that I had created. And thankfully in 2017, I got over it and I started spending money and I started doubling my income. So give me a round of applause for finally getting over a really bad habit. I switched it over to something different. I switched it over to a habit of, if I want knowledge, find who I can pay to get it faster. And that has been a life changer. If I can find somebody with the knowledge that I want, I just pay them and I get the knowledge. And sometimes I just work for free, or I give them something for free, or sometimes I barter something or trade something or give them an opportunity like the podcast. So if somebody's looking for marketing and they have a good influence, I'll bring them onto the podcast. If I'm looking to get close to their audience or they have the same clientele as me, then I offer them something that they're looking for. Does that make sense? So sometimes it's not always monetary. Sometimes it's just influence. It's something that you can acquire over time. There are many things in this world, but there are only a key handful of habits that will make you successful. And we're going to talk about those right now. Here's how you do anything is how you do everything, because the sentence is actually identifying of habits. Write this down. How you do anything is how you do everything. And then right above it, right? This is how I discover my habits. Because I can go through this whole training and teach you, but if you don't understand the concept of this is how you discover your habits, then this sentence is a useless sentence. It's just a fun thing to say, and it is right. And so it's one of those, well, it's another day in paradise sort of comments where as within, so without, right? It's a super misunderstood statement. Hands to the camera if you know what I mean. That's a super misunderstood statement. Yes. So how you do anything is how you do everything can also be super misunderstood if you don't communicate it properly, if you don't grasp what it actually means and how to utilize it. Each and every day, you have habits running like a program, like a computer, and they're running inside your brain, hitting you with different results. And as you go through the day, most people are not questioning them. But you can now. You can look at the results you're receiving and say, which habit brought this to me? Which habit that I have implanted in my brain that I've instilled over time that may have come from my parents, that I may not have chosen, that may have come from a teacher, may have come from a situation I didn't like. And I've continued it because it was safe at the time, but rules may have changed. As you got taller, you could reach more on the cookie jar, right? Right? You can reach that cookie jar on the top of the shelf. Yes. As you got more experienced in life, you could have more. But sometimes, who here was 21 and didn't drink their first drop of alcohol? Hands to the camera if you got to 21 and hadn't drank anything. Hands to the camera if you had drank way before 21. Excellent. So when you could finally drink in a bar, did it feel weird? Did it feel like, oh my God, I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing, but I am totally doing it? Yes. Yes. A life experience. Life had changed. Something about life had changed simply with age, simply with getting older, simply by just being here long enough. Some of the habits you have are dangerous now. Some of the habits that you've created over the last 10, 20, 30, 40 years of your life, 50 years of your life could be holding you back from wealth. They could be taking away happiness from you. They could literally be damaging and poisoning your relationships. They could be giving you bad nights of sleep. They could be creating atrophy in your life, in all aspects of your life. They could also be creating the success that you have. If you're successful, your habits created it, nothing else. It wasn't luck. It wasn't resourcefulness. It was good habits that helped you identify and become trained and able to take those deals. We talked a little bit earlier about cryptocurrency. Mike has a habit of learning investments, and so do I. And so as we learn these different types of investments, we have access to different types of investments. So one of Mike's skills is learning, educating, reading. So before we identify some of these habits, I'd like to bring Mike on and talk about our book of the week. Let's give Mike Shine a round of applause.
Thank you. Book of the week is The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And it's a lesson in the fact that small habits are what create amazingly large results. And what I got from the lesson is that, rather than trying to go big, like spend a lot of money on a gym membership, get all your equipment and do all that stuff, and then by January 18th, you've quit for the year. It's about the small habits. Maybe a walk around the block, just starting small and compounding those habits one after another. My favorite part is the story of the three guys. I wrote down their names. There's a Larry, a Scott, and a Brad. And Larry basically does nothing. Scott starts doing small good habits, and Brad starts making small bad habits, like more TV, one more drink a month, and eating cheesy casseroles. And over 5 months, you're not going to see any effect, but over 5 years, it's going to be huge. And I'm just going to put in the chat the quote from Albert Einstein. And this is basically what it's about. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. So if you have good habits, even if they're small habits, they will create something amazing. So that's The Compound Effect. Great book. I recommend it. And there you go. Thanks, Walter.
Give Mike Shine a round of applause. Mike is the author to the 52 Weeks to Wealth when it comes to the books. So he and I sat down, we communicated with each other, and we said, Mike, here are my 52 wealth principles. Here's some of the books that I think should be a part of this. I want to know your opinion, because he's read just about as many books as I have, or is in the running to get there. I've read over 300 books over the last 5 years, 6 years now, and it's been a journey. Not all of them are the best, but there's not a single one I regret, because I now know what was in the book. And some of them have been absolutely phenomenal. Some of them are life-changing books. Mike, what were the bad reviews about this book? What would you say the bad reviews were about The Compound Effect? Because it's a very interesting point I want to make here.
Well, I'm reading the 4 agreements, so I can't say anything negative about it. So,
so what have other people said against this book, against The Compound Effect?
no, just that you can find the same information in other books, and that it's and that Darren Hardy is got a big ego, and you'd be better served to see Tony Robbins and And as Elizabeth was saying, there is the Atomic Habits. That's another great book. So there's a bunch of different books on this one, but it's just such a short book. I mean, Melissa Darling read it last week and read it quickly. So it's not a, right, Melissa? It's not a
Yeah, it was a quick one.
quick read. So go for it. Can only help.
I agree. Give Mike Shine a round of applause. Thank you, Melissa, for chiming in. You've got the compound effect if you want to read about habits. You've got the power of habit if you want to read about habits. You've got the Atomic Habits by James Clear, Charles Dunn, and Darren Hardy. These books, I've read them all, and I don't regret any one of them.
Right.
I've read them all, and I looked at it and I said, wow, that's a good story. Yes, we're talking about similar habits, of course. The habits are principles. You know what is exciting is that they're the same principles that everybody else is utilizing. We have the habits of choice, momentum, influence, acceleration. There are habits that will create more in your life, whether it's good or bad, but it's compounding. They compound over time. Like Mike said, if you eat Doritos every day for 5 months, you won't see a big difference. But if you eat Doritos every day for 50 years, something will happen. We don't know what it is, but something will happen. So there's a habit loop. There's a craving in the brain, and the golden rule of habit change that's mentioned in The Power of Habit. This book was written by a psychologist. So this book is a lot more in detail. If you've read The Compound Effect, then The Power of Habit goes even deeper into the why behind the habits and how they exist. But the Compound Effect is, I think, a simpler version, and it's probably easier for most people to get through. Anyway, so the books, write this down. Successful people read books. The books are a habit. If you've read The Miracle Morning, which is another one of the 52 Weeks to Wealth, one of those books, that book talks about the habits. These are all habit books. In fact, every single one of the 52 Weeks to Wealth involves a book that is based on a habit. The Foundational 5 talk about habits. The Foundational 5 books are all about building the right habits, the right mindset. And habits are based in here. So all of the bad habits you have are the first step to getting your good habits. You first have to identify the worst habits in you. So we're going to take out a pen and paper because this is how you remember things. This is how you get yourself to the next level. And if you want to recap any of the successful wealth principles, go back to walteramarello.com. It is on there for free right at the top. You can go over to the 52 Weeks to Wealth, 52 Wealth Principles, and you have the books and you have the principles themselves all sitting right there. So pull out a pen and paper, and I want you to write at the top of it, not your name or the date, but put down bad habits. Bad habits I have. I know these are powerful hypnotic words, and we don't want to say I have these bad habits, but just put bad habits I have, and you can actually put your name and the date today. Why not? So this is the past now. The second you write it, it's already the past. In fact, I want you to scratch out the word have and put the word had. Just get rid of the VE and put D. Because as we continue, you're changing life. See how you're making adjustments on this paper? Is this making sense? You're adjusting your thoughts, adjusting the paper. As we're in life, it's okay to readjust. Now you're going to write down the first one. The first one's the worst one. The first one you can think of. Worst habit you have. Terrible habit. This thing is taking hours from your life. It's taking happiness away from your life. Maybe it's taking things personally. Maybe it's being dishonest. Maybe it's not being clear with yourself. Maybe it's not spending time with yourself. Maybe it's not eating healthy. Whatever habit maybe it's not going to bed on time. Whatever habit you feel is really killing you. Like the worst one, write that down. Now the second one could be related to the first one. Well, it'll be interesting to see, won't it? Write down the next one. The next one that you know is affecting your life. These are habits that you do it every day and you feel, man, I can't get rid of this. I can't kick this thing. Why do I do this? Why did I do that? It could be responding to things emotionally. It could be not communicating clearly what you want. And maybe just allowing people to walk all over you. Or it may be making wrong decisions too rashly. It may be like We talk about in trading, buying and selling at the wrong times of the market, right? Getting greedy when everybody else is greedy instead of getting fearful when everybody else is greedy. These are habits. Write the third down. These are bad habits. Terrible. Write down the third bad habit, something that is taking stuff away from your life. Now, for some people, yeah, who does that, right, Mike? For some people, you're going to identify that your habits got worse as you went down. Hands to the camera. Who noticed the habits got worse as they went down the page? Excellent. Who saw that their first habit was truly their worst habit? Excellent. So for some of you, there's clarity already that you know, okay, this is the worst one. This one's killing my life. This one's taken away from me. And then the others of you noticed after the first one, that sneaky one that was covering up everything else, that there's one even worse. And then there was one even worse. The third usually is the worst one, or at least it's where we're going to have to start. Like going any deeper than this would be overwhelming the mind. Is that fair? We agree we're going to start here? Excellent. On the other side of that bad habit, I want you to write the opposite. So go to the top one. Some of you, this is the no big deal one. Some of you, this is truly the worst one. Go to that top habit and write the opposite. So for example, if eating bad food is the bad habit, then eating good food is the right habit, right? If it was something as simple as that, if it was not going to bed on time, then going to bed on time is the right habit. And there are many dozens, thousands of habits that you could be thinking of right now. You know your life better than anybody else. This is part of how you do anything is how you do everything. Being able to identify your bad habits and looking and saying, okay, interesting. This is what I'm doing. Now let's go to the second habit. Same thing. Write the opposite of it. Third habit, write the opposite of it. Hands to the camera. Who needs more time for this? Just a little. Okay, keep going. Yep. These habits have opposites, just like everything in the universe. There's an opposite action to every reaction. There's an opposite reaction to every action. The universe operates this way. If you don't think nice about money, if you think poorly about money, that's a bad habit. If you think only rich people get wealthy, only the rich get richer, that's a bad habit. Although it is true, it does get easier. The richer you get, it becomes more simplified, more streamlined. You get more cool people who are doing more stuff. But anybody can get rich. It's just a matter of believing it. So if you have low self-esteem, that's a bad habit. If you consistently believe that you're not worthy of success, that you're not worthy of love, that you're not worthy of having the right health, that's a bad habit. Mindsets are habits. Going to different thoughts are habits. Successful people, positive thoughts only. You've heard these statements before, yes? Successful people have positive mindsets. Successful people take action now. Successful people move forward. They do. They put in the effort. Now, one thing that I can't stand about successful people is that they oftentimes say that it's work. And I've never met a truly successful person who felt that they were working when they were truly successful. The things that come to them, the things that may come to you will be difficult, yes. But the actual effort that you put out that gives you the results you want is not work. It's fun. You enjoy the things that make you most successful, and the things that you don't enjoy are when you're resisting the results. That's because it wasn't in line with you. And that's okay. It's okay to not be in acceptance of people not liking you. It's okay to not be in acceptance of being sued or projects going wrong, houses exploding, toilet pipes, all these different elements that'll happen in real estate investing. It's okay to not like those, but the truly successful person accepts them no matter what, and they don't seem like a challenge to them. It's just okay, no big deal. On to the next, right? So we have successful people in the room. Who's felt those things and been scared and terrified by them? Yes, it happens to all of us, but that's not where your success came from. Your success came from when you said, well, no matter what, this has to be dealt with. Hands to the camera if you know what I'm talking about. That's the successful habit. For some of us in the beginning, it may take a little while to get there. Taking that action step in here saying, yes, I want to be successful. Yes, I'm gonna handle that problem. I'm calling somebody right now. Yes, I'm gonna go get the money. I'll figure it out. I'll fix the project. I'll get the deal. That's the habit. All right, so we've written these habits down. Everybody's written them down. Hands to the camera, yes? Okay, everybody, good. Were some of these shocking to you, the bad habits? Hands to the camera. No, these have been here for a while. Yeah, these are like old friends. Yep. Old friends, like kind of warm and fuzzy. You almost feel like, okay, like I know that about me, but I'm kind of cool with it, right? Yes. Hands to the camera. Yeah. I know some of you are like, yes, but I'm not raising my hand. That's kind of an embarrassing one. That's that's all right. That's all right. That's life. Knowing is the first step. How you do anything is how you do everything. So now, who had one that was money related? Who had a habit that they identified as being money related? Hands to the camera if it was related to money. Excellent. Hands to the camera if you found one that was related to health. Health. Excellent. Hands to the camera if you found one that was related to relationships, to your relationships. Excellent. So since we had more habits that were related to health, we're going to move in that direction. Health, and this is a fun one because we all have it. We all have this body. We all have this ability to move. We all have this ability to consume and drink and eat. And what we put into our bodies gives us results. And this is where the magic of how you do anything is how you do everything. When you think of putting good food into your body, is that a common thought or is it a guilty thought? Common thought where you say, yes, I always put good food in my body. Excellent. Guilty thought, oh, this probably isn't good for me. This probably isn't good for me, but fuck it, whatever. I'm gonna just slam this one down. I'll get back to it tomorrow. You can change it, but before you do, I want you to identify, you may do that in your finances as well. You may say, well, this would be the right move for me, but I guess I'll just slam this one down one more time. I guess I'll just show up to work and put in half my project energy, half my progress, because I don't really care about what I'm doing. Has anybody ever done something you don't care about doing? Why? Why do anything you don't care about? If you can't get yourself psyched up to care about what you're doing, you don't belong doing it. Now, I'm not saying don't do anything. What I'm saying is get yourself psyched up about what you're about to do because you don't have a choice anyway. If that's the decision you make, if that's the commitment you've made to work for somebody, to take on a project, to get paid an hourly wage, then that's a decision you've made. Do it with the best of your ability because that's a success habit. Write it down. Everything I do to the best of my ability. Be the best. Focus on the best. Surround yourself with the best. The more you do this habit grows in other areas. It grows in other places. Put the best food into your body. And if you can't afford the best food, put the best food you can afford into your body. I'm not saying you have to go and get the most exotic cashews that will, bring the vitamins and healing to the acai bowls, whatever you can afford that is the healthiest. Start with that and make progress. Notch it up. Right? Do like Mike does. Go vegan eventually. Right? If you can cut out the meats. And I'm not 100% sure that that's a healthy move for everybody, but for most, I know, Mike. I don't want to offend our meat eaters, bro.
Tell them to read How Not to Die by Dr. Michael Greger.
I have the book over here too. Yeah, it's over there. How Not to Die.
That book and tell me after that it's not the way to go.
So, since Mike is delivering a book, another book of the week, How Not to Die, for anybody who's interested in eating healthier. And vegan is not expensive. It's just a way of life. It's just a healthy option. Okay. Vegan is also potatoes and French fries. So all things within reason. How you do anything is how you do everything. If you are not putting the right food into your body and you know it's the right food and you know other food is wrong, you probably do this to you in your money. If you know that it's a money activity, things that make you successful, calling people who have money, right? That's a thing that makes you successful in sales. putting all your effort into your task, putting all your effort into what you're doing, 100% focused is a principle. The best, be the best. Truth, being honest, being 100% honest about your intentions, what you're doing, what you want, what you're creating. Speak and you shall receive. But if you speak false truths, you may get false truths. You may not get what you actually want. If you don't know yourself internally, so spend time, quality time figuring yourself out. If you don't know yourself, you're going to ask the universe for stuff and you might get shit back. You may not get the stuff you want. You may not get the things or the experiences of the people or the body or the life. You may just get garbage. It may be gold to somebody else, but to you, it may not be the results you're looking for. So it starts with your diet. It starts with, do you make your bed in the morning? Because there's a sentence, something that Ron told me a long time ago. He said, past Ron made the bed for future Ron. Past Ron was thinking about future Ron, just saying, man, I bet this guy's going to really like this bed when he gets home. You know, after a long day, after all this typing on the computer and playing StarCraft, Star Citizen, and flying through space, solving the universal problems, and buying real estate and building an empire, when he gets home, kicks off his shoes, and gets into that bed, he's going to think, wow, past Ron was really thinking about me. Who's ever had that experience where your future self thought about your past self, or your past self thought about your future self? Yes. Love yourself just a little bit more. Serve yourself in the future. Go ahead, Mike.
If I'm going out like for a night, I make sure all the dishes in the sink are clean and the dishwasher's running before I leave, because there's nothing worse than coming home at midnight, 1 o'clock, to a sink full of dishes.
With 5 kids, a family of 7, I can't even imagine how many dishes that is.
Right.
I agree, Mike. And we're about to move to Tampa. So I'm in a crazy clean the house stage, right? We're 2 weeks away from going to Tampa. And my head's already thinking, all right, that I'm not touching for the next 2 weeks. That I'm not touching for the next 2 weeks. And some of these things I'm not touching for 5 months. When I get back, I want to make sure that this house is exactly the way I want it to be when I return. And I want it to be comfortable. I want it to be clean. I want to get back here after a 2-day trip, driving for 2 days or 3 days. I want to make sure that when I get home, I think, man, I was really thoughtful. That was a very nice thing I did. I want all my whiteboards cleared so that when I return, I can put my own thoughts up there. I want that future self to be thankful for the past self. Does that make sense? Excellent. Some of you may have put down or recognize that you're not 100% gentle with the people around you. Maybe you snap with the people around you. Maybe you're not as kind or sweet or nice, or you don't push as hard for the people around you, their goals and what they want. That's a big success flaw. Anybody you come into contact with is the most important person in the room. Write this down. Anybody I come into contact with is the most important person in the room. And if they're not, you're in the wrong room. We grasp that? You're not a tree. You can move. You can make like a tree and leaf. Yeah? They don't get better than that. I know. If you're communicating with somebody, they are your world. They are the most important person in the room. They are your world. They're your universe. You treat them that way. And if you have decided in your mind that they are no longer the most important person in the room, leave that room. Change the conversation. Get away. Get out. Surround yourself with people that can be the most important people in the room. If you're in a room with somebody that you don't find any value in, leave. If you're in a company that doesn't have people that are valuable to you, well, one, you may want to change that, how you're perceiving these people, learn to love them, find a way to enjoy them. And especially if this is your livelihood and you have to be there, you have to learn to love these people. Everybody has good redeeming qualities. Everybody does. Absolutely. And write this down. Successful people make it a habit to find the good in others. Very truly successful people seek out, make a list, champion the person they're in front of. This is a habit. This is a secret. This is a little tip I'll give you. when I meet you, I am competing with myself to find more good things about you. Every time I meet you, I'm looking for something new. This makes sense. You may have seen me talk about my coaches before. The coaches in this community who really highlight and make this program, the mentorship, something worth doing. And the reason I do that is because it's common sense. It's just the first thing I think of when I think of that person. When I think of Mike, I think he's just a genuine person, honest, ethical, the attorney who closes deals. He gets things done for us. He helps us raise capital. He's got partners. He's built a business on partnerships, multiple businesses on partnerships. And when I think of Terry, I think of somebody who literally emphasizes the concept of generate income. I think of somebody who is a previous pass with psychology, literally a doctor in psychology, then a master hypnotist, then a master NLP practitioner, a student of the mind, somebody who constantly looks into the mind and says, wow, this person is doing this and saying this, but they actually want this and they don't know. How sad is that? Let me have a conversation. And Terry, this is the hardest thing, to be somebody who understands the mind. Terry knows he now has to have a 20-minute conversation to help you understand something he figured out in a second. And to bring you around to the point where you can accept what the reality of what you're saying actually is, and that you are the cause of the flaw in your life. It's not easy. What Terry does is absolutely impressive because he's passionate about it. He's patient. And, I could see it in his eyes. I could see, oh, he figured it. Like when one of our students was talking, and I could see it in his eyes, like, ah, got it, figured it out. And then as he's communicating, I could see that he has to wait for that person to come around and say, oh, it's me. You're right. Yes, I am the reason I am here. I am the reason I'm as successful as I am. And the point is not to work to generate income. Terry emphasizes generating income. Look, it's not for everybody. Not everybody wants to get rich. Not everybody wants to have the money. Not everybody wants to have the options. Some people truly are happy with being right where they are. Some people like working 40 hours a week, like the 9 to 5. Some people are so thankful to have that same size check come in every single month. And that's okay. But Terry is for the people who want to get more. They want to move more. They want to do more. Terry has so many flaws. All he sees is the potential in someone. It can blind him, right? To see the ability that someone has, to see his love for helping can put him in bad situations where he helps too much. It's possible, right? We all do this. But even with Terry's greatest flaws, his ability to actually bring people around, his ability to actually bring people forward, his ability to move people and double their income is probably the biggest success factor. The reason he's part of this community, the reason he runs the coaches and makes sure everybody's doing well and everybody's happy, is because he's not perfect. He's the best he can be today. And then tomorrow, he's the best he can be tomorrow. He's emphasizing and embodying, just like all the other coaches, that I want to be the best. Mike Shine says it to me all the time. I want to be the best dad. I want to be the best, investor. I want to do the best that I'm doing in the moment. Where's Doug? Is Doug on here? Doug, same thing. Another phenomenal coach who teaches people how to speak. Did you know that speaking is the number one fear in America? Hands to the camera if you've heard that before. Do you know what that makes speaking? Because the second most feared thought is death. People fear speaking more than they fear dying. How crazy is that? To fear public speaking more than death. But that's the reality. When it comes in on the polls, death number 2. Public speaking, numero uno. So Doug helps people speak publicly in front of people. It's probably the most high. It is right, Doug, highest paid job, right, in America is public speaking.
Oh yeah, well, especially since sales and influence is the highest paid jobs. The most successful people who are in sales speak to sell.
And I agree. The only reason I'm able to raise all the capital that I do is because I speak. The only reason I'm able to find all the deals that I do is because I speak. The only reason I'm able to find the labor and the crews to work with me is because I speak publicly, and I record it, and I post it, and I share it, and I boost it. I spend money on those ads because You can't be afraid to be successful. You can't be afraid to go out and put a message out there, because that fear is going to kill you. It's killing you slowly. You're not going to notice it, just like all those other bad habits. Write this one habit down: fear. This is the habit. This is the bad habit. The one, if you were to kill one habit, it's fear. And now, like we talked about earlier, you can't kill a habit without having its opposite. The opposite of fear is love. The opposite of fear is love. And the action that can help move you from fear to love is action. The actual process, the put energy behind this is move from fear to love as quickly as you possibly can. And the second a fearful thought comes in, change is coming, change is going to hit you and affect you, you switch it over to, I love change. I am change. I have mastered change. Change is exciting because the only time people get rich is when they change something about being broke. They changed something that was keeping them where they were, and they took action, because successful people take action. Successful people accept love and embody change, just like Terry, just like Doug, just like Ryan, just like Mitch, just like Ron, just like Darina, just like Christine. You know, it's true. Christine is here too. She needs her own window. I can't wait to have that. Hands to the camera. When you were most successful, you had changed something, yes? There was a decision in your head. There was something you did differently. There was something you did that was not the same as the day before. You had changed. You said, I'm taking action. I'm doing something different. I appreciate you taking the time to hang out with me this weekend. I appreciate you taking the time to write this down. But there is nothing that will piss me off more than you going throughout this week without spending some time on at least a few of your habits. There's nothing that will slow my mission down of building millionaires than not paying attention to this habit. I want to build 100 millionaires so that we can build 100 more, so that as a team, we can go out and build hundreds and hundreds of millionaires, because millionaires are the biggest charity donors. Millionaires are the biggest employers. Millionaires make sure their kids, their family, their spouses, their friends are taken care of and given the best options. Hands to the camera if millionaires sounds like something you want to be. Excellent. It's worthy. It's worth it. It's a project. It's a process. It's not easy, but it's possible. Anybody can do it if you just stick to it. If you say, yes, I want it. Principle number 1, think $1 million. Principle number 2, go and choose a business that can build $1 million, that can become $1 million. These wealth principles at waltermorello.com. You can just go there, check them out. Principle number 3, understand the 4 types of money: profit, flow, income, and equity. Principle number 4, put all your eggs in one basket and guard that basket. Principle number 5, build a business. It's very difficult to get rich in this economy without having a business. Principle number 6, your business must solve a problem. Principle number 7, who has your money? If you don't know who has your money, then you need to go meet that person. If you're in a room full of people who don't have money, then you won't have money. If you're in a room full of people who do have money, then your odds of gaining money go up dramatically. We agree? Yes. Who has your money? It's a powerful principle. Principle number 8, don't save for a rainy day. Principle number 9, track and focus on your net worth. Principle number 10, increase your income through increments and surges. Go check out the 52 wealth principles. Pick one, create that habit. Pick just one of those 52 this week and move forward with it. When I evaluate businesses often. I evaluate deals often. The first thing I do is, can this make $1 million? And if the answer is no, I move on. Does that make sense? First habit I created was, does it move me towards what I want? Does it make me money? Does it make me happy? And if it doesn't check out in either one of those, I'm not doing it. And you shouldn't either. Successful people don't do things that don't make them money, and they don't do things that don't make them happy. Have you ever seen a very successful person say, man, I just worked a whole bunch of hours on something I didn't want to do? Has anybody heard that? Very, very rare, right? And if they do, they will never do it again. They learned a lesson. They may have accidentally fallen into something that they shouldn't have been doing. Have you heard a successful person say, somebody else is doing that for me? I don't like doing that. I have somebody else to do it for me. Hands to the camera. Yes. Yes. These are habits. These are habits. Pick one of the 52 weeks, pick one of the 52 wealth principles, utilize it in your life, implement it this week, or go through all 52 and look and say, how I do everything is how I do anything is how I do everything. Is this showing up in my life? How is this showing up in my success? How am I acting properly with this habit? Is it my mindset that needs to change first? Am I being honest with myself? Am I doing my best? Am I taking this personally? Or am I just standing with the law of detachment and not being attached to the results of anything? Am I focused on what I want? Or am I focused on what I don't want? And since we're talking about habits and how you do anything is how you do everything, write this one down too. How does this serve me? How does this serve me? I heard this from Paul Fink a while back, one of our coaches, and he said, how does it serve you? And I use it in the house. Sometimes Dorina gets pissed when I say it. She's like, I know. But sometimes it's exactly what we need to hear. Is this thought supporting you in your goal, or is it holding you back? And if it's holding you back, change it. Change your story. Just like Tony Robbins says, change your story, change your belief system around it. You can change. You are changed. Just like Marshall Silver says, the master code is change, and you can change. You are change. Embrace that. As a human being, everything changes every day. These things grow back every 7 years, right? These eyebrows, this stuff may not, right? You may not be able to get some of these things back. You get menopause as you get older. There's children in your life that weren't there before. There's responsibilities in your life that weren't there before. There's new hobbies, new habits, right? The asset classes that you purchase may change. You may go from real estate to gold to stocks to cryptocurrency to your business to buying businesses. The asset classes you invest in may change. You may change to invest in human people, human beings, human capital. I've been saying it for years. I collect human capital. That's my currency is people. The more people I have doing well, the happier I am. It's my collection. You here in this group are a part of what makes me happy. And it's a very external resource. Can't control it, can't move it around, but it's there. And you have energy, you have power. And knowing that at any moment I can call on you and say, hey, we should do this business together. And knowing that that would be the right move for you, me, and everybody else involved, because obviously we'd serve the community in everything we do. Hands to the camera, you got to serve the community. Knowing that I have that ability and we're building even better people, richer, wealthier, more ethical, more honest, more abundant people in this community. That's fun, right? That's a success habit. Building relationships with the right people, going out and connecting with people who want more, who are capable of more. You have the same ability that I have to build relationships with good people. Excellent. It's good seeing everybody here today. Is it okay if I sell something? Do I have permission to sell? If I keep it very short, keep it very sweet. For $1,000, you get to hang out with me and the coaches for 8 weeks. We will be nice, but we'll also kick your ass. We'll make sure you're doing the right things. We hold you accountable. We'll educate you. We'll make you read. We'll make you stick to the habits and the principles that make people successful. Just like Raj, just like Manny, just like Melanie, just like Roger, Victor, Jared, Ron, Mike, Christine, Terry, Andrew Casal, Matt, Henry, Mario, Elizabeth, Stephanie. And I know there's more of you. I see you guys jumping in and out of in the calls. Kim, Jared, man, phenomenal people. Melissa, there she is, taking action steps every day, building habits, doing the net worth tracking sheet weekly. I mean, maybe not all of you, but to the results that you do, your results will vary. Yes, hands to the camera if you know what I'm talking about. It's $1,000. They spent it, they invested it. And we talked about it this week, me and the other coaches. We said, if we had $10,000, what investment could get us to the million the fastest? What investment, if we had $10,000, what could get us there quickest? And all of the coaches said, well, obviously education. Like, obviously that's the first step. Like, which coach could I pay to teach me something I don't know that would lead me towards $1 million, right? Like, that's the first dead giveaway. And obviously a lot of them said, buy real estate, own or occupied, buy that house hack it, use that money, leverage it, get to the next property. And Terry said something that I thought was fascinating. And every one of these pieces is a part of the puzzle, right? Because not any one of them is the golden nugget. It's all of them. You put all of them together. You can just have one and the results will vary. But if you put them all together, success is guaranteed if you do all the steps. Like I said, one of my favorite sentences from Paul Fink is, if you don't do all the steps, results may vary. And that's up to you. That's your choice. I chose everything. I chose speed. I chose to become wealthy in 3 to 5 years. Now, it took me 5 years because I didn't know all the steps, because I had a very fundamentally broken flaw that was, I don't pay coaches. And had I adjusted that sooner, I would have been a millionaire sooner. Does that make sense? Yes. Excellent. I am not a coach. I want to be very clear. The way I operate is as a mentor. You come to me, I give you advice. We don't talk until you come back to me. Does that make sense? Yes. We grasp that it's a very simple life that I've chosen for myself. It is, I have the knowledge. I will text you anytime, but I am not going to call you and make sure you're doing well. That's what our coaches are for. That's what the coaches within the program will offer you. I have been told that $1,000 is extremely inexpensive for this. I agree. It is. And for people who don't want to be held to the grindstone, who don't want success, who don't want to change their lives in the next 3 to 5 years, then this can be probably the biggest investment in their lives, because for them, they would be having to change. They'd have to leave their couches. They'd have to have more dollars in their bank accounts. They'd have to have better relationships with their families. And it can be very scary to have those things, to have to spend more time with people you love and have better health in relationships, and to have more money to go and have fun and do things. You know, $1,000 is the initial investment. It's a start. There will be more. And flexing that muscle allows you to find better coaches, allows you to move through a program that gets you more and more access to more and more wealth, more and more awareness, better habits. So that's the mentorship. Go to waltermerlo.com or talk to Dorina, waltermerlo.com/mentor to join us. I will let you know. The more people come in, I look at you as an investor. When you come into our program, you give us that money, you've committed to us. I go and I commit to finding other people with that money. I put all my time, my effort, my energy, my marketing dollars behind finding more people to bring them in, because it's a mission to build 100 millionaires. Ron and I have made our money. We do very well for ourselves. We have a massive net worth compared to all the people in our area, right? If I look at LA, we're still in the 1% of income earners, but net worth wise, we'd have to have $12 million net worth to be in the 1%, but we are in the 5%, which is over $1 million. And so we're okay financially. We agree, hands to the camera. We don't have to be doing this. Yes. Excellent. Which then leads me to tell you that I love doing this. I love seeing people successful. I can't help myself. I sat at a cigar shop the other day, just hanging out with everybody, and it was just so exciting to see the questions, the results, the success. Hands to the camera if you were there and you thought that that was a cool event. Excellent. And did you learn something? Did you meet some new people who are in real estate and fascinated? Excellent. So for everybody who was in the mentorship program, who showed up and sold the mentorship program for me, thank you. I appreciate you giving me a better chance to get to the next level, to leverage more and more people and get more people successful, which means we're improving the cities, improving the communities, we're creating jobs, we're creating better quality housing, we're taking old decrepit buildings off the market and putting new beautiful houses for families to live in, providing safe, quality, clean housing, servicing our communities in a way that other people just previously weren't. The only reason we get wealthy, the only reason you get rich, is because you're doing something that wasn't previously being done, or you're doing it with a better quality. You're doing it in a better manner that wasn't being done. We grasp that? It's all about quality, doing the best you can for more people. I'm going to open this up to the coaches in just a second, but I got one more nugget. Successful people serve more people. Successful people serve more people, and they serve them better. The richest people on the planet are serving billions. The poorest people on the planet are serving themselves. Let that one sink in. Richest people on the planet are serving billions. Poorest people on the planet are serving themselves. And if you're anywhere in between, Just keep working. You're moving in the right direction. Does that make sense? The more people you serve, the more you will have. And if you serve people who have, the faster that will go. Mike Shine, when we talk about habits, when we talk about a lesson like this, what would you say is the biggest takeaway, the biggest piece of advice you'd give to somebody?
Well, I agree with what Melissa posted. She said that you were dropping some bombs today. Make it a habit to view the person you are speaking with as the most important person in the world. That, when you said it, I grabbed my pen and said, I got to write this down. That's awesome. So I just agree with Melissa. That's a bomb. Nice job.
Thank you. Give Mike a round of applause. And Mike has that ability. He's a very good, confident person who, when you talk to Mike, I remember the first time I met him, I knew he was an attorney. We were at this big real estate investor meetup, and he was dressed really nice. And I was so intimidated because I was like, oh, attorneys, they must be tough. They're smarter than us, and they got this ego. And when I talked to Mike, he smiled, he shook my hand, he asked what I do, and he was just so genuine. Like, we're in a room full of 100 people. Nobody else mattered. I felt 100% engaged with this super powerful attorney who was coming down and just being humble and, a good, genuine person to me. And so, Mike, you do embody it. We feel it when we talk to you. Everybody who's had a call with Mike before in the coaching program or texted him or had a conversation, he makes you feel special. Yeah.
Dave Cordero. Dave's like my biggest fan. Oh.
Give Dave a round of applause. Dave's a fan of successful people. He's a fan of himself. He wants to move forward. And that's why he's here every single week committed to his success and your success as well.
I definitely get as much, if not more, from you, Walter. And so I appreciate the friendship.
Absolutely, brother. I will always continue to give. It is a part of the success habit. Keep giving. Terry and Christine.
What up?
Well, you can go both at a time. I'm treating you like you're in two separate windows right now. Terry, you're first because Christine is the best. We're going to save the best for last. No, ladies first. Okay, ladies first. You're right. That was respectful. Yes. Christine, you're up.
Now that we have that clear, today's lesson's been great. Terry wants to use that, so we'll let him use the prop. But it's about taking small steps, the right action at the right time. That's what we talked about at the top of the hour. It was take the right action. You may not be able to take the leap at the time, but take a little step. The little steps is what makes it not overwhelming, because so many times what we don't want to do is the huge leap. So take the little steps that get you where you want to go. It's the little habit tweaking. It's the tweaking that will get you your success.
I love that. Give Christine a round of applause. It is the little tweaking. And so Christine is actually trained through Starbucks College, Starbucks University. If you've not heard of it, this is not a joke. Starbucks actually has its own university, and it's considered one of the best education sources in America today. So what she actually went through is how to build a massive business and build a culture that allows people to want to work with you, to keep them coming back, keep them excited. The success Starbucks has is stupid to me. It's absolutely ridiculous how successful they are, considering they're a coffee company. And Christine was trained by them. And
I probably wrote some of that university over my 18 years. I can definitely say there are tidbits from Christine McGinley in the Starbucks University.
That is pretty badass. And when I first met you, I thought that you were just a 9-to-5er. And then when I really got to know you, I was like, holy shit, this is an entrepreneur. They just rank leveled her up in this company in a way where she got to be the boss, where she got to build and train and teach. So Christine is a phenomenal asset that was kind of like our sleeper asset. She's Terry's secret weapon. And we didn't really know everything she was capable of until she really started coming on camera. So I'm still working on getting her own square. Right now, we'll take this powerful square of generator coaching. Terry, go ahead.
Yeah. So there's two things here. One, there's a book called The Way You Do Anything is the Way You Do Everything. It's an amazing book. I suggest getting that book because it really dives deeper into that. It was written by our coach, and it is an amazing book. And it's really true. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. And so we wrote a book that is quit taking your own bad advice. And really what it's talking about is the habit of listening to our own head tell us to do it the same way over and over, and having to be right, and really understanding how to let go of that, let go of your ego. And as we talk about ego, it's eliminating great opportunities. And so we want to really make sure that we let go of our ego and start listening to somebody different than who we've listened to before. And then through that, we start to change what we believe. And as we change what we believe, we can change what we act upon. And that's really where we start moving forward, is starting to act upon different things than we've always acted upon. And that's what changing a habit is all about. And so I want to leave you with this. When you start saying yes to opening your mind and listening to the brilliance of others, you start moving forward amazingly quick on the bullet train to being a millionaire.
I love that. Give Terry a round of applause. And I got to give Terry credit for something I don't think you noticed. He said ego, write this down, 3 letters. Ego is eliminating good opportunities. Ego is an acronym for eliminating good opportunities. Did anybody catch that nugget? That's a good nugget, right? Write that down. Eliminating good opportunities. When I have met people who came to me for mentorship and I decided not to work with them, and I was asked why, I'd say ego. I just, they're not going to listen. Not worth my time. Does that make sense? You can pay me, but I found that people with a very strong ego they don't want what I got, because I was strong ego. So I know what I'm talking about. That was the reason I didn't pay coaches. And so when somebody with a strong ego comes to me and says, hey, I want to know all of this stuff. Okay, sure. Are you willing to do this, 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 this? Well, no, that's not how I want to do it. I want to do it this way. Okay, well, you let me know when you're done, and then come back and I'll give you some real advice so you can move forward and do the actual steps to get you successful. I don't mind. Ego is eliminating good opportunities. And what I found is the most successful people have an ego, but they don't bring it out when other people are around. They may go back home, they got their ego, and they're like, okay, you got to work, you got to grind, you got to read, you got to do this, you got to get to the next level, you got to educate. When they get out to other people, they left that ego at the house. The ego told them to get out and meet somebody, but when they got out, they were looking for opportunities. And they said, okay, whoever I meet, I'm just going to work with them. I'm going to see them as the best person in the room, as the whole universe, and work towards helping them get whatever they're looking for. And the ego may have said, hey, go find somebody with money. But when they got out, they didn't look at the money that person had. They just said, hey, I'm going to treat this person with respect. I'm going to learn more from them. I'm going to develop something. I'm going to find out what they're looking for, and I'm going to go build it. I'm going to go give them whatever they're looking for. I'm going to service them. And if I can't do it, or if it's not cost effective, if it doesn't make me money, doesn't make me happy, right? When I say I can't, I mean, I choose not to. If it doesn't make me money and it doesn't make me happy, I'll pass it along to somebody else. Real estate agents in the room. Where are my real estate agents at? Excellent. Excellent. I pass you leads because I don't like going into properties anymore. I never did. I'm so over it, but I want it done. I want my clients moving forward. And so I pass those along to the right people who don't mind doing it. Agents in the room like taking the leads. Yes. Like working with people, like adding value to their lives. Very cool. Excellent. Where is Doug? Is Doug still on the call? There he is. Doug McGurk, your biggest lesson. What would you like to share for today? Dougie McDoug.
What's going on?
What's up, big dog?
You got me?
We hear you
What's
now.
going on? All right. So, to dovetail and support also what Terry and Christine shared and what you shared, it's that compound interest of those little changes. You know, if we change 1%, that's it, 1% every day in a year, that's way more than 365%. It's exponential growth. And, the old saying, if you take a penny and double itself for 31 days is well over $10 million. So oftentimes we are conditioned to expecting radical, huge changes to happen. And the truth is usually the ones that happen fast are bad. bad changes happen fast. Great changes happen over time. And then you go, oh, wow, look at how I've changed, how I've transformed, right? Because change is automatic. Transformation and progress is a choice.
I like that.
So,
and look at the shirt Doug's got on. He's got the 100 Millionaire shirt. All right. So now I say, look at his shirt, and we're losing him for service. So Doug lives in, I believe, Miami.
That's right. I was actually just voting, and I sat down.
Doug, we're losing you, brother.
That is almost as good as his voice changer.
It almost sounds exactly like the voice changer. So Doug, for whatever reason, you're out of service at the moment. I assume once you walk in that house, you'll have your Wi-Fi. Once you get all your packages from Amazon, you'll be back in the game. So once you're back in, you're on the Wi-Fi, let us know, and we'll take some advice. Excellent. So anybody at this point want to mention something? And by the way, Melissa, you and I are jumping on the podcast this week. Very excited about it. Melanie, I'm still working on you. Whenever you're ready, love to jump on the podcast, learn how you bought 2 subways, 15 apartments, all from a young age, raising 2 kids all by yourself, whatever. If you want to have that conversation, I would be real. Who would like to find out more about Melanie's success? Answer the camera. Yes. Yes. Okay. No pressure, Melanie. No pressure whatsoever. Kim Harvey, similar situation. If you wouldn't mind, like to do a podcast with you sometime this week. This is a selfish plug. The Alchemist Nation podcast is back in the swing of things, and we are interviewing people who have built massive success from nothing. And if you came into it with a ton of money and you built that, then well, okay, I'd probably interview you too. I just like success in general. So if you're interested in being on the podcast, you've got a good story, or you have a coach or a trainer, or there's somebody you look up to that you have a connection with, or shit, Dorina will make the connection. If it's somebody you think I should interview, definitely send me or Dorina a message on Facebook and say, hey, interview these guys, see if you can get in touch. And if you make the connection, even better. Big thanks to everybody who's made connections. Damien made a few connections for us this week. Mitch Jaworski, Mitch Durfee, Mike Shine has helped me make some connections with people. So definitely thankful for everybody who's bringing awesome guests on. Who's watched the Alchemist Nation podcast and met some really cool people who you never would have met, like gotten some really cool advice from people who are, building 1,000-unit empires, 2,000, 3,000 unit empires, raising capital in the millions, tens of millions, buying deals without putting tons of effort out there. These people are amazing. What they're doing is phenomenal. There's Dan Zatofsky. I think he does 200 flips a year. He has 600 units that he owns himself. Phenomenal people. You got to go back, check out Alchemist Nation podcast. You can get it on gualteramarillo.com. You can go on Anchor. You can go on iTunes, Stitcher. It's all on all the different platforms because I have an awesome team that does that for me. I'm not going to pretend to be that smart, but they are. They know what they're doing. And thank you, Sam. Thank you, Crystal, for all the effort you guys put into the brand and everything you do for making sure that we're successful and helping more people learn. Doug, I see you're back in the studio. What was the last little bit of advice you were giving? You broke up a little bit.
Me?
Yeah, man.
Well, no, you had asked about. You said I was wearing the shirt, and I was sharing that the poll lady when I went in there. She's like, 100 millionaires. What's that? And I was like, I'm part of a crew here. We're committed to creating 100 millionaires so they could create another 100 millionaires, and so on and so on and so on, and change the world. And she's like, wow, cool. And then, of course, I had to go. But yeah, so I don't know what you lost me on what I was saying earlier regarding just the compound interest of change. The little changes add up to big things, but sadly, big changes that are bad happen overnight.
I like that. That's powerful advice. And the better, like Warren Buffett said, if you can build earlier on in life, you can handle just about any kind of setback. So it's setting these good principles, good habits in place so that in the future you can handle them. Give Doug McGurk a round of applause. He represents the 100 millionaires. He's out there wearing the shirt, rocking the brand, speaking and teaching people that may have otherwise not had an opportunity. If he wasn't out there saying, look, declaring that I'm a millionaire builder, that I build millionaires, then he wouldn't have had the opportunity to touch that woman. Who knows what that little impact, that little seed might have planted in her. It may not be for a year, a month, 2 months, but one day she may wake up and say, I met this guy who was building millionaires, and it inspired me to read a book, and it inspired me to go to some sort of training or to get to that next level. And maybe she doesn't become a millionaire. Maybe she just earns 100,000 more than she's ever earned in her life. Would that be okay if he sparked something in her? Yeah. Awesome. Give Doug a round of applause. I love that. We'll open it up to questions. We got about 11 minutes before I got to jump off. I want to make sure that if you are in the mastermind, you can jump off now, come back at 12. I know, get some food, get some water, get something to take care of yourselves so that you can be prepared for an intense situation. It's going to be an intense day. We're going to go deep and make sure that everybody is solving the problems that are really important to you. So thank you. Any questions? Any questions on the topic?
And
Oh.
just
Go ahead.
quickly, Jared mentioned in the chat that his small habit that had big effects is that he quit smoking. And just wanted to acknowledge that because he saved like $3,200 a year. I know he's still...
Absolutely. Give Jared a round of applause. $32 a year plus the insurance.
Not to mention his lungs
and the medical bills down the road. Exactly.
Right.
So Greg Lacandis, dude, no disrespect, man. So he said, no disrespect, but a client of mine had been speaking with, just called and committed to do business with me. So sorry I took the call on the camera. Greg, impressed the entire time. I was like, hey, you know, people taking leads from me, and you were on the phone, and I looked over and I was like, oh shit, he's closing deals right now. So give Greg a round of applause. The fact you stay on the call while you're still doing business, man, that's just staying in the abundance mindset, still closing deals. Perfect, man. Definitely love it. And we appreciate you taking the deals for us and operating in the abundance mindset the way you do, closing deals, helping people buy real estate. So give Greg a round of applause. Phenomenal, man. What are the questions? What are the comments, statements? And also Mike Shine. Give Mike Shine a round of applause. He's always got the nuggets, gold nuggets.
I think we also always forget to give Walter a round of applause.
Oh.
Give Walter a big round of applause.
Show him some love.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you. This is your chance. Questions, comments, something you picked up that maybe wasn't there before, maybe an action step that you're going to move forward this week with. Robert, go ahead. You are muted, sir.
One of
There you
the
go.
action steps I picked up was the power of partnership. So for 14 months, y'all know my whole sales story. So I had to get smart. So on last, I think it was Monday's call, the gentleman, Anthony Belveco, I can't say his name right, but anyway, so we got on a call after the video podcast, man, and it's just like, you know, he asked me where I was struggling, so I told him everything. I said, the problem is, basically, I'm trying to do everything myself. So we started a partnership to where all the dead leads or dead, whatever. So using another tactic to go the lease option route. That way we can capture all the leads that I thought was dead. This opportunity, one, to help people, help them build their credit, help them become homeowners. I told him yesterday, man, I want to be, we talked about how everybody in San Antonio and all these big markets are supposed to be these big shots. Well, I told them they can't capture everything. So the things that they can't capture, let's capture them. We know we're going to win some, we're going to lose some. I told them, man, I want to become the Chick-fil-A of real estate. We know McDonald's is a real estate company, so I want to be the Chick-fil-A of real estate. Let's take what these guys do and do it better. So, I mean, ever since that and taking advice from Terry on that phone call, brother, I'm motivated beyond what I've ever been motivated. So I just wanted to say that.
Give Rob Murrell a round of applause. He is going to be the Chick-fil-A of real estate. That's it, man. Turn and burn them. Excellent. Excellent. It's good to have you in the community, Robert. Love seeing you on these calls, my friend. Questions? Go ahead, Melissa.
It's not a question, it's more a statement. So reiterating back to the nugget you dropped, Walter, with like have the person that you're in a conversation with be the most important person in the world. Like that's something that I kind of learned, and also giving love. Like that's something I learned through UPW, and that like once you make that change, like things just change for your life. And it's something that's so easy to do. It's like just in your mind of like, okay, I'm going to be so mindful in this moment and be here for that person only. And it really is something that's so easy to do that everyone on here can do today. So I just wanted to reiterate it.
Awesome. Give Melissa a round of applause. Big heart, big goals. She's going to the top. What other comments or action steps? What can we hold you accountable to this week? What's something that you know because of this training you're going to go and do? Something you can take action on. A habit you can change. Habit you can work on. We got about 5 minutes left. This is your chance, your opportunity. It's close. You're thinking about it. It's right there.
Okay,
There you
it's
go,
me. All right. So you said, I think my biggest thing is like fear hangups, even though I do a lot of different things and take action, you still kind of get stuck in your own head. So you had mentioned kind of the opposite of that is love. I feel like I'm a pretty loving person, right? I care for the people that are in my life. So how would you actually put that into practice? What would you actually do to kind of take those first action steps?
I love it. So anytime you feel fear, anytime you're afraid of something, love yourself. When you feel fear, it's not about loving somebody else, it's about loving you. Just saying, I love me right now enough to not stay in fear, to just go do something. And identify what that thing is, and then turn your story around, whether it's something you like or don't like, just change it to something you love. I can say I love jumping on podcasts. I love talking to people. I love texting anybody who's asking me questions. I love solving problems. I love quality time with the right people, right? Like I can say that all day. The other side of it is, oh man, I got to go text somebody. Oh man, I got to jump on this podcast. Oh, I got to go, write up what I'm going to talk about today. So there's two ways to look at it. But when you fall into love, it's like, phew, turn it on. Let's go. It's game on, right? So we've been sued before. We've had, properties just turn sideways on us. We've had tenants say, oh, we're not paying you. We've been in real estate for a little while. We've made enough money to get sued. We've made enough money to have problems. And what we've discovered is that as soon as something bad happens, we just say, this is an opportunity to prove who we are again. One more time. Prove to the city who we are. Prove to the tenant who we are. Prove to the contractors who we are. Let's go. We fall in love with just reminding them that we are the best at what we do. And we may be growing. We may be learning, but we notch up every day. Every day, Ron and I as business partners get better. We share more love for the game, for moving forward, for improvement. And that's the secret, Elizabeth. It really is. Whenever something scares you, when you get a little bit of fear, just be like, I love the concept of getting past this. I'm going to find something about this and shift into love and just start moving, start going. And you'll see the momentum picks up. You'll see it's actually really enjoyable as you get going through it. Great question. Give Elizabeth a round of applause. She's one of our mentorship members. She's in the community. She loves it. And we love having you in the community and being able to work with you and see you grow so much in the time that you've been with us. And I've known Elizabeth for years anyway. Before this, she's always been in real estate. She's always operated in multiple markets, right? Seattle and Boston. But the growth as a human being, seeing her happier with her success and moving forward, and then the network, the way she communicates and networks with everybody in this community, just a blessing to have you. And we appreciate you, Elizabeth. Thank you. I guess we got 2 minutes left. We got a few seconds. Comments, lessons, something you can be held accountable to, or questions. This is your chance. How about we put a vote up? Who wants Christine and Terry to get their own windows? Hands to the camera if you think that Christine deserves a window of her own.
You know what's
Go ahead,
funny?
Christine.
In our other circles, we were in separate rooms. They're like, what the heck? We don't get it.
Why are you in separate circles?
Why are you in separate rooms?
We're a team.
We're in the bus
Yeah.
together, as Michael Shine would say.
So I have done both. I've hung out with Dorina on calls and I've hung out individually on calls. And I've found that we take up more space when we're in our own windows. We take up more space and we're more independent. It allows us to operate more effectively. Pincer formation, we can get them from both sides. Whereas when we were in the same window, we're almost muting each other. I almost don't say things because she's right there. She almost doesn't say things because I'm right there. And so when we were in separate windows, we were able to take over the room better.
So that's awesome. We have a program just for that to show you how that you can work with your partner to have the maximum loudness, maximum voice, maximum impact together at the same time.
And
All right, I'm signing up. Okay, run to the back of the room. Take action now. I'm in it. It is 11:30 for everybody who's in the mastermind. Make sure you go get something to eat. Make sure you get something to drink. Go to the bathroom. Prepare your mind. Get into a comfortable state. We're probably going to be in the room together between 3 to 4 hours. We've got enough members to make sure we're going to have to be efficient this time around. The room is growing. And so we'll just make sure everybody's on task, on point. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So, but dude, don't bring us small questions. Bring us the big ones. Bring us the one that's stopping you from making $1 million right now. That's what we're looking for. The big doozy, the one that's holding you back so that you can work on it all month long. We'll give you the answers. We're going to overwork you. Is that okay? Hands to the camera if that's okay. If we're pushing you too hard. Awesome. Awesome. For everybody else, go and take action on this step. Think about what habits you have in your life. Think about how they're affecting you, how they are serving you. And remember, how you do anything is how you do everything. Successful people take action now. Successful people always focus on being their best. Successful people are always honest in everything they do. And successful people don't take anything personally. Successful people treat the person in front of them as if they were gold, as if they were the most important person in the room. And successful people take time for themselves to figure out what they want, who they are, and do a little bit of self-development, self-improvement. Cheers to your success. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Focus on the best. When you have a choice, always work with the best.